Two, one. Hey guys, we are live and welcome to episode 24 of the weekly. We're off for about a week or two, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
And of course, with us, our usual host of characters on time. And Juan isn't here, couldn't be here this week. We're starting off with Mr. Warren Bowman from BWone.
How's it going, folks? How's it going out there in the Google Air land, Air Hangout land, wherever they call this thing?
Okay, Air Hangout. And next up is Mr. Sam Babajide, aka Black Iron _man.
It's on. What's going on, people? How you doing?
All right, cool. We have no uselessness for this week. If anyone has a uselessness, please chime in, send it over. But we're going to kick things off with Windows 10. Windows 10 is launching next Tuesday, I believe. Wednesday the 29th. And we just wanted to share some tips, answer any questions, any concerns people have with Windows 10, and also just share some of our experiences. So I'll start off with you, Sam. Just give us some of your experiences with Windows 10 and where you see the operating system, and then any tips you want to throw in with that.
It's a nice operating system. I got to give it to Microsoft. Microsoft has done a great job of bringing all the elements together. I know I've said this several times, but it's done a really great job of bringing all the elements that you expect from Windows, that you've experienced in Windows 7, Windows 8, and now Windows 10. I don't know why they skipped 9.
It was just
it's a
a
naming
marketing
convention.
thing.
It's kind of a code thing, too.
Yeah, it's a naming convention they've had to skip. I know they skipped it somewhere along the line before as well. So basically, they've done all that. They've brought everything that we're familiar with, and then they've put it together in this cohesive form, right? Where you now have Cortana integrated into the search bar. You now have the ability to basically, launch your browser in I'll call it a Metro-esque kind of environment, because everything now is Metro-esque per se, right? Because the UI is now uniform across the board, which was something.
Modern UI now. Don't get any copyrights against Microsoft there.
What?
You gotta call it modern, not Metro.
Oh no. I said Metro-esque. Not Metro, because for some reason I guess someone else owns the rights to the name. But at the end of the day, it's a much better product than we've seen from Microsoft in the last 3 or 4 years. And I think the reason why it's so good is because Microsoft has listened. They've gone back. They've changed things around. They've used that developer program / early adopter program to kind of get people involved and giving them feedback. And it all comes through in Windows 10. I think this is probably going to be the best operating system Microsoft has released since Windows XP.
Any tips for people switching over, making that migration from?
You said been best of Windows XP? You damn lie.
What? I said the best since Windows XP.
No, maybe since Windows 7, Windows XP. Come on, man. XP didn't get good till Service Pack 2.
That is
Be honest here.
well, right off the bat, Windows XP was usable.
Dude, remember the dog days of? Dude, I was using Windows ME. Okay, this was dog days.
Speak of ME.
Exactly. That's the only thing that could run on my AMD system. And anything else just crashed. So, but anyway, Warren, how about you?
So like I've been playing around with Windows 10, mostly in a VM environment for various reasons, because I tried to change that around last week, and as Thunder, that was not the most successful change around because of some of the dumbness of Microsoft and how they handle certain keys. But it's going to be a very familiar experience. That's what I think a lot of people are going to recognize when they first launch it. They're going to have that start menu there, and essentially they've expanded that start menu, including the touch-friendly UI interface that they made with Windows 8, along with that interface allowing apps between your standard desktop and modern UI kind of interact with one another. And you're seeing sort of Microsoft slowly change the GUI around, change the skin around, and really adopt this new sort of simpler, more refined look. I think a lot of people will be fine with Windows 10 and upgrading. Obviously, back up all your stuff before you do the upgrade, just in case anything happens. But nothing should really happen other than a smooth transition to the upgrade. And Microsoft's put out a pretty solid operating system, essentially giving people. I think this is the vision of what they really wanted Windows 8 to kind of be. But now they have user input into it, and now you're starting to see that their insight and user insight into the product that they put out now with Windows 10.
Okay, cool. As for me, like I like Windows 10. I really like it. My reviews out there is up there, so you can check it out. But I'll just kind of go straight to like tips. The easiest tip for anyone, I would say, is definitely use Cortana and search. If you can't find anything, the integrated search on the system is so good. Type in whatever you want to search to find, or just ask Cortana and you will find it. Cortana also has access to all built-in Microsoft applications. So if you want to fire up music or play music, you can tell Cortana resume music. It will actually play from your music or resume your movie, things like that. So definitely use Cortana as much as you can. I think that's something that a lot of people enjoy. Also, Xbox streaming. You know, if you got family members over, a spouse watching TV, and you have your computer and you still want to play your Xbox, just stream it so you can save yourself stress, and it works very, very well. I mean, the beta, there were some issues, but now you hit stream, automatically your Xbox turns on. You can actually also turn on your Xbox from your PC. So that's something you can do and just continue streaming. Now, some people have asked, hopefully Microsoft will do the reverse where you can stream your PC games to your Xbox. I don't see why not, because it's definitely possible. NVIDIA has shown with the Shield Android Shield TV that you can, so that might be something they would do down the line. But overall, I mean, I like the form function. Like Sam said, the Metro S look. I was going to ask now, have you guys used, any of you guys used the Edge browser extensively?
Not extensively. I mean, it's a pretty nice browser.
That's what they're calling it now, the Edge browser. I used it when it was still called the Spartan browser.
Yes,
Project Spartan.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's actually very good, really. It does this thing where you can actually just highlight text and bring text forward. Yeah. So if you want to just read, you can basically look away from all the pictures, all the distracting, whatever, and just bring the text forward and actually read that. I think it was very useful. It was actually very useful, but I didn't use it as extensively as I would have. I used it maybe a handful of times because it's on another machine that kind of died on me, and I just recently got back up, so I haven't been able to use it as often as I will.
Okay. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Warren.
It's been a pretty decent browser. I've used it, not extensively, but enough times with it. I mean, I don't really pay attention to this percentage faster than Chrome, that percentage faster than this and that and the other thing. Almost every modern browser is fast. I mean, it's really going to be hard for us to find an extremely slow internet browser these days. But I'd like to see it's all going to depend upon some of the extensions that it gets, some of the ad support, how it syncs with mobile, and sort of going forward to see if it can really attack Chrome in a way that Chrome has really taken over the browser space, and not only on your desktop but also on your mobile device as well too. And it'd be really interesting to see if Microsoft can kind of attack that same space, not just on their own mobile devices but also on Android devices as well. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. I think one of the big things for them to get, they got that the syncing, which is what a lot of Chrome users like, is the ability to have their settings pretty much no matter where they go, and have their browser history no matter where they go is a big key feature. And hopefully Microsoft will be able to do the same thing to put a competing product out there.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I like the browser. It's still my second browser in use, not my first yet, but just some pages just don't work well, but those are Flash-based pages anyway, because I don't think they fully support Flash. I think even they themselves are going like, Adobe, we need to kick this thing out of here. So, but I think it's a solid browser, and like you said, if Microsoft can make that push into other mobile platforms with Edge, and have that sync in, and then, which I think they will, because their motto now is we're throwing all our software and everything, so it's just a matter of time, I think, once they have it down on the mobile front, and then we'll see it's cross-platform.
They have the name recognition that a lot of casual users, they could recapture back that audience that they lost to Chrome. You know, they were still in the battle against Firefox. I think I never thought really Firefox took over sort of the techie crowd,
The
and
extension lovers.
the extensions were a really cool thing. But really, Chrome came in fast, speedy, and it came in with all the extensions and all these different things in it, and it became a much more user-friendly experience compared to sort of I think Firefox, and that's what I think it not only got the techies out there to use it, but then it also garnered a crap ton of just casual users. A lot of casual users didn't even use Firefox; they went from IE straight to Chrome.
Chrome, yeah.
Very fast, you know, and I found it to be very interesting. So I'd like to see Microsoft have a response to that, so we can have a better choice in browsers. Because right now it's like if you really want your digital life synced well, where you can go anywhere and have your settings no matter where you go, Chrome is really your only good answer out there. I know Firefox has some things like this, but they're not on the same.
Oh yeah, I mean I definitely agree. I mean, you know, especially.
Well, I would say I prefer the what's it called, the add-ons on Firefox to.
No, I prefer those too.
Chrome.
I agree,
but Chrome has a great mix of everything, whereas Firefox is really the add-ons really put Firefox over the top. That's in my opinion. But Explorer and even Edge, it's the add-ons are what's going to be hampered.
Yeah, that's what's going to make it.
All you said about the
No,
the mobility and every mobile phones,
No,
and
but
that
I-
actually will count. But
I think add-ons for us techie, like to Warren's point, I think the most important thing is just the saving of your settings and you're moving from your desktop to your mobile and everything flows.
Just think about the first time you used Chrome and then you used Chrome on your
Smartphone.
phone, and
That's not you typing an address; it pops up because
everything pops up there, and it was like,
yeah,
that's what the casual
good.
user will probably want more.
That's true.
You know,
I'm all for extensions, but I'm not an extension junkie anymore. If Firefox, the way to really make Firefox work for you, you had to do that. That's by nature. Since it came out, that was what you had to do.
Yeah.
Chrome came out as a very good browser without extensions from the beginning, and those add-ons essentially enhance the experience. And I don't want to add 50 million add-ons. I want to add a few here that I need for specific apps or something like that. Not that I need it to get the core functionality going. And that's what I always felt Firefox always kind of was. It was like you can use Firefox plain, but unless you really get all these extensions in here, you're gonna kind of struggle with it. And I felt like Chrome came out much more complete, similar to the way Microsoft, when they had their browser versus Netscape, this just came out a little bit more complete and ready to go out of the package. And I don't know why you have these glasses on.
That's from one of books. But anyway, let's move on to any more tips quickly before we move on. Anything else you want to mention to people about?
Wait till it comes out and don't try to install the beta with the keys. The keys don't work.
With Windows 10. So.
No.
Yeah, well, if you haven't,
They quietly didn't tell anyone that. So.
Well, that's what I mean. If you're on the beta program and you can still upgrade to 10, 20, 40.
Yeah.
10 to 40, sorry. If you're on the beta program, go ahead and upgrade. The sooner you do it, the better, because it is the final version of Windows. All you're getting is just patches, for security and all that kind of stuff. If you're not, wait till the 29th. Make sure you click on that Windows icon in the lower right-hand corner and reserve your upgrade so that goes through. It's gonna take a while. Just know that, because you're upgrading. It's saving all your files. Like Warren said, back up everything. Just do it. Just do it.
Oh no! Come on, live life on the edge. Don't back up anything. See what happens.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on. Motorola has an announcement on the 28th, next Tuesday. They have an event, and they are doing a live stream. And we expect this is Motorola going to be showcasing their new Moto line, of course. The 2015 Moto G, Moto X, and most likely a new Moto 360. So, any thoughts? What do you think, Sam? What do you think? Do you think Motorola is going to? I'm going to show images that have leaked of the devices.
Yeah, they haven't given any specs out yet.
Oh, we already moved on. Sorry. I just wanted to show that icon. I have that on my HP. Stream 7 has finally showed up.
Yeah.
Oh, it has? Okay. I need to do that on my Stream 7 too. Thanks.
So it finally showed up here, and all you got to do is hit reserve your free upgrade, and it ties to your Microsoft account. It goes and does the thing, and you get an email confirmation, and you're all set to go.
Yeah. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
Oh no, we're just saying. Basically, they haven't come out with specs yet. The images themselves look pretty interesting. They've
This thing is
changed.
all butt out. Like this is all like butt naked without a name.
Yeah,
So
very
this
true.
this is the Moto G here, but
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
I like the way they've actually designed. Like it's the Moto G's
Very
design. The rear of
impressive.
of the device is something I actually like. I like how they've taken the flash from being around the camera and actually putting it below the camera. It also leaves the possibility that they might be using the flash as something of a. You might actually have a heart rate monitor in there. I don't know, but they haven't really released specs. So it leaves the possibilities for a few things. The Oh, sorry, people are constructing stuff next to me. Um, you have basically, I would say a lot of the things I liked about it stayed the same, which is placement of of the headphone jack. Um, Overall look and feel kind of stays the same, but that's it. We don't have specs. The specs would be the thing you want to really talk about, and I don't see anything really about the specs. They haven't released much on it yet.
There were some specs out, rumored specs, I believe, for the device. It's supposed to cost about 245. It will either be powered by the 410 or the 610. I think it's the 610 if it's 245. 2 gigs of RAM. General consensus is still a 720p display at 5 inches, but they're thinking it might be 1080p. 13 megapixel rear camera and 5 megapixel front-facing camera for that. So.
It's a pretty midline phone.
Yeah, I mean, if it's 245, it should be the 610, not the 410, because then that would make more sense, I think. Any thoughts?
I like the Kevlar color though, the Kevlar look on the back of it.
I mean, Kevlar look is the best look Motorola does, I think, in general. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Warren?
But we're talking about the Moto X or the Moto G.
Oh, we're starting with the G. We just started with the G.
Oh, okay, I'm looking at the wrong thing then here. I mean, it's a nice look. It's a very basic looking phone. I mean, it looks like a. Look at the back of that. It looks like a Lumia phone. To be honest with you, if you don't turn it around, look at the back of it. It looks like a Lumia phone, really. That sort of that design of the camera is very LG-esque. I would say they got inspired by that a little bit. I think the specs in here are probably pretty accurate. I'm assuming this is going to probably be a 610 because most likely the bigger one's going to be like a 810 or something. So I could see this being a 610, 2 gigs of RAM, because obviously the value these value smartphones are going to get better in specs as time goes on.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense. 5 megapixel front shooter makes sense. 13 megapixel camera, 5 inch. I think the display will stay at 720p. It'll just have a higher pixel density, and I don't think it's going to go to 1080p, but I think it'll just be more pixels packed into that 720p to just look better. Other than that, it looks like a pretty standard Moto G phone, I suppose. I mean, they've had success with this for a while. It's not a phone that personally excites me all that much, but I know in the markets that this is sold in, it will be pretty substantial to them.
All right. What about the Moto X? This is the only image available for the Moto X. Again, they do look similar. I'll read out the specs, rumored specs. 5.2 inches, 2K display, pixel density of 565, Android 5.1.1, using the 808, rumored. Also is 32 gigabytes of 64 internal storage, or 64 the options, with 4 gigs of RAM. Rear camera is 16 megapixels. Shoots at 4K. Front-facing camera is 5 megapixels. Wi-Fi, dual band, and a battery size of 3280 milliamps.
Why the 4 gigs of RAM?
Everyone is doing 4 gigs. I mean, we're going to go to the Note 5 next, and we'll hear that too.
Yeah, the Note 5 makes sense. It has that much in it. But 4 gigs on these standard non-phablet phones just seems like you're just adding a cost that you don't need to add to.
Yeah.
The users that are going to be using this are not going to be using it. Total 4 gigs. They're not.
Yeah, hey, that's the fan favorite. Well, how about you, Sam? What do you think?
It looks very similar to the previous one, except for the back again. It looks as though they kept the design that everyone kind of loves. If you have a Nexus 6, you'll be very familiar with the look of this device with a little curved top and everything.
Let's just be honest here. We're really hoping this camera doesn't suck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that we're looking at, and we're like, is this camera gonna suck like most Motorola cameras? Now, last year on the Nexus 6 is the best camera Motorola's ever put out. It was actually a very solid camera compared to the competition. It was at the bottom. But like,
No, I definitely agree. I mean, everything else, like all Motorola phones nowadays, in terms of form, function, and the other stuff, I'll give them this. But when you decide to snap a picture, like Warren said, it's there. It's just that simple. Once you start taking out photos, you might as well just stop.
I mean, I like the ring, like the whole ring sort of design that they had on it, on the way they did the flash, and the flash with the ring around it, which actually is kind of smart, especially if you're going to take selfies, because essentially get the best light on you in a front-facing way.
If that was in the front. Oh, and the other thing too is that both. I think the Moto X has a flash by the front-facing camera. That's about it. So.
If they brought that ring design to the front, that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, the ring design doesn't help in the back because you're taking further, you're taking from a further distance, so it doesn't help. Especially because you see pro photographers use the ring whenever they're doing close-up shots and doing a profile of someone's face or something close of an object. So.
I mean, I don't know how they would do one big enough to fit on the front-facing camera, but it's just a thought process on why they did that. Moto X, somebody left a comment on here, Lynn Marie. Moto X looks like Samsung Edge in this picture.
No, I don't think so, Lynn. Is it on the Q&A or?
Yeah, it's in the Q&A.
I don't see anything. Oh, sorry. Here it is. My bad. Lynn Marie, the Moto X looks like Samsung's Galaxy S Edge in the picture. No, don't think so. Don't think so. Toyo.
This trimming is. Know what? I think she's saying that. Look at the bands on the side.
Oh, the side trimming. Yeah.
Trimming. Look at the little. Where the I think those are probably what radios. Or wherever the little bands the little bands are. It's right there, so I think that's what it look like, and it does look like that. It does look like the Samsung S design here. I wouldn't be surprised if they're getting influences from Samsung and LG, but it seems like they're getting influences from cameras from HTC. So
yeah. I do like the design though. I like the design, but it's still very. If you look at the design of this and you look at the design of the Nexus, you would see it's pretty much the same. Just the coloring has changed.
Boring. That's what you want to say, Sam.
It's a good. It's a good design. It's very different from what Motorola had done, in prior years before they started coming out with the Nexus line. The Nexus is a beautiful phone. The Nexus 6 is a beautiful phone.
Well, I can tell you. Oh, she says yes, the bounce, but I can tell you this: the reason why the design changed is because this is the last year of this design influence before Lenovo puts it out, changes the design influence altogether, or at least tells them, hey, you need to change stuff, because it's still a transition year for them. So the best thing is, instead of you trying to do anything funky, you make a mistake, improve on what you have, and throw out a product.
Moto Maker, so
yeah, the Moto G will support Moto Maker. You're right.
It'll be interesting when these come out, and people are already kind of in the know that Lenovo owns these. People jump onto these, or they're gonna wait to see what the newest thing's gonna be following year. So
yeah,
kind of surprised these are coming out, but I mean, hey.
We have a comment here from Toy Brown Jr. Says, uselessness of the week, Apple Music.
Oh boy.
What happened with Apple Music? I might have missed it.
I don't know. I know it's very hard to end your subscription. It's not a very straightforward process.
But Apple, why would you want to leave?
Tell them to send us a link. Send us a link somewhere, and then let us know what's.
Yeah. Toy Brown Jr. Please send us a link. Just let us know, and then we'll talk about it.
Sorry.
And see. Let's move on to the other major device that we know is coming up. Rumors are that August 12th, the Note 5 and the S6 Edge will launch. We have some leaked images of both devices. And let me start off with the Edge here. I'm just going to share my screen so you guys can see that.
I don't get this.
So it looks like there is going to be no Note 5 Edge. It's the S6 Edge that's taking over, which should mean the indications that the Edge sold much better than expected, and Samsung is going to just make that a bigger line, and then they're going to keep the Note 5. This is still the S6 Edge here again, running on Note 5.1.1, and then this is the Note 5. The Note 5, if we have an image of the S Pen area, no, this one doesn't. There's one I saw with the image of the S Pen. It doesn't pull out. It looks like it has a pressure button, so when you push it in, it ejects out instead of So that, I think that's the one difference I saw. But in terms of specs, we know this is running the latest Exynos processor, and we'll have 4 gigs of RAM. We'll have expandable storage. Battery will not be removable. But it's going to have a big battery.
But they did confirm. Did someone confirm expandable storage? Because there's a question on that.
So the last update I saw, somebody confirmed expandable storage. But then again, I could be wrong. So who knows? It could. It's one of those where it's like it's here or there. It all depends. The S6 Edge Plus does not have expandable storage. That one doesn't.
Yeah, but the S6 doesn't.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, just in case somebody thought maybe that might have expandable storage or not. But the S6 Edge does not have expandable storage. But yeah, you were going to say something, Warren. Sorry, before I cut you off there.
Is anybody disappointed like me that they're not continuing the Note Edge line?
Not really.
I'm disappointed by that because I actually like the Note Edge. I just wish that Edge was on both sides of the phone. But other than that, it was like far more productive the way the curve worked on the Note Edge versus how it works on the S6 Edge, which is just kind of a it's there, but it's kind of a gimmick at the same time too. It's just nowhere near as like robust as it was on the Note Edge. So I really would have liked to see them kind of continue that, giving us that deep curve on both sides, giving us that really unique device, instead of just really taking our S6 Edge and going like this.
No, I feel you on that.
I understand
on the function on that side.
This isn't in response to techies who probably would prefer what I said. This is in response to a whole bunch of 6 Pluses being sold. Is it the iPhone 6 Plus being sold a whole lot? This is their direct response to that. That's what it is.
Yeah, I would say so. But I mean, in terms of specs with the Note 5, it doesn't look like. Am I slowing down there? Is there a slowdown?
No,
I don't see you slowing down.
All right. In terms of response to the Note 5, I think you're getting what you should expect from Samsung there, in terms of just form, function. The only thing is the battery is most likely isn't removable. It looks like it's a glass back, so take it as is. That's what you're gonna have there. So yeah, and it looks like it's also micro USB, right?
Oh, it's micro USB. There was they're not going to use USB-C on this.
Doesn't look like from the images.
I remember I commented on this a while ago. I said I don't think we're going to see USB-C on phones until next year.
I mean, there's no confirmation. No one has confirmed anything. We will see USB-C soon, very soon.
Yeah, but this makes sense to be the first phone to use USB-C, and I don't from the image you can't really tell.
You can't really tell. I mean, no. I mean, I've seen renders where it's in micro USB, so that's that. But I mean, any thoughts again, just quickly on a launch on the 12th. So the rumor here on this article is saying that it's actually going to be it will launch on the 13th, meaning maybe the event is on the 12th and then they launch the next day. Similar to what HTC did, with the M8 last year, where they had like that, which was probably their best launch ever, because they had it immediately on Verizon, and then later on that week was like all the different carriers. So
that won't happen in the U.S. It just won't. That's not how these carriers operate. It just won't happen in the U.S.
I mean, they could get one carrier to do it for that day. It's very possible.
It'll be AT&T.
Yeah.
AT&T will be the one that'll do it. Maybe one carrier does that while everyone else waits a month later.
Yeah.
But,
so
I mean, maybe that. I mean, this is going to be maybe out the next day. European carriers out in the Asian markets. Drop it right there that way.
I think it's going to launch. If it launches that day, you're right. It's going to be one carrier, but I think the rest will launch at the end of the month, except for Verizon, probably. We all know how they do it.
Yeah, Verizon takes its time, but I'm thinking.
From all the carriers I know,
Well,
they say end of month.
I also think if they're I also do think if they're going to do it this way and they're going to choose one carrier, that carrier is going to want some exclusivity for longer than a month, longer than a week. I have a feeling it's going to, if they get it, it's going to be like a month time frame.
No, I don't.
Pre-order though. That'll be the way they'll get around it. Everyone else can pre-order their devices, and then they'll ship maybe a week before the launch date, so you get it a couple days ahead of time. You know how they dance around.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's very possible.
Since they're trying to compete with the Apple 6S Plus or whatever is going to be coming out, it's going to be the
6S Plus, 6S Plus.
Yeah. Since they're trying to compete with that, chances are they're going to try to release it before the end of the month. I'm thinking most carriers they'll be pushing for most carriers to have that before the end of the month.
Oh yeah, but it's carriers. I mean,
you can okay. Let's put it this way: you can get Sprint to do that. Number one, because they need it.
T-Mobile
anyway. Yeah. AT&T can definitely be your lead carrier. Again, it's only Verizon. Let's just be honest.
Exactly. Verizon that's
a large carrier base.
No, I know it's a large carrier base. I'm just saying, but they're the only ones who like to be stubborn. No matter how you even look at it, right? They're the only ones who really just like to be stubborn. So I guess 3 out of 4 with cricket and the rest of it combined with that too. You're better than
one thing I could see them doing is announcing a specific date that everyone can get it at the same time, like August 30th. Everyone gets the phone. I could see them doing something like that, where this is the date. No matter where you go, this is the date. Like much like an iPhone launch, this is the date. Everyone agreed to do that.
No, I can definitely see that.
I don't believe that.
I'm hoping Verizon doesn't do a holdout on this one because I'm actually thinking about switching to Verizon now. AT&T's been giving me issues in New York. So
Verizon also is not that great in New York.
Yeah, man, so many cell phones.
It's not gonna. We have a couple of questions here. So the first one here is Michael Elbeard. So I watched the Pebble Time review and I was curious, what do you guys think about color e-ink display for smartphones? If you can make it for a budget smartphone, like real budget, then sure. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it works, but
that's like a very specific market and a very emerging market that might.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like that's kind of something that you could do for those kind of markets where okay, you're giving them good battery life, and you also you're cutting costs on your display, which is one of the big
maybe for dumb phones, maybe non-smartphones, maybe, but not.
No, you know what? Color e-ink on like an entry Lumia phone. Like we know how they had like the Lumia 430 or like those very low numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing where you just throw it out there. I mean, the battery life would be fantastic. It's something somebody can easily pick up and use. It'd be like $50. Sure, but no, nothing higher than that. I think. Any thoughts, Sam?
There's a company that's been doing this, and that's Yotaphone. They haven't been doing color e-inks yet. It's been doing basically black and white e-ink. But I can see Yotaphone coming out with a colored e-ink. They do the dual display phones. So you have a regular LCD display on the front, and then you have a e-ink display on the rear of it. And they've shown different ways where you could use this. I don't see where color e-ink is necessary for phones right now, just because I don't think the technology is there yet. For the 5-inch plus that we're all looking for. But if at the end of the day it ends up, if someone ends up adopting it, I would like to see Yotaphone do it because they've been doing really interesting things where you can browse the internet on the LCD side, flip it around, and you still have all your icons, all your apps on the rear that you can launch on the e-ink side, and that shows up on the LCD screen. So it is usable. There is a way to use it, but does it have to be color? I don't think so.
No, I agree. I mean, I still think Windows Phone just because the OS lends to it, and it's just much simpler. You don't have too many colors running around, so you can easily do that, especially with the settings where it's just black and white.
Yeah.
Or at least it's just two-tone colors. So
it's going to be very difficult playing games on an e-ink.
Oh yeah, which is why I said. That's why I said you do an entry-level phone. Like if it's a $50, entry Windows phone, those people don't care about games. They care about I finally can get on the web. I can finally, do whatever I need to do.
It's going to be a very shoddy experience. If you've ever seen how e-ink right now responds when you're using the web browser, let's say on something like the Kindle e-reader, there's a reason why you have to go under experimental web browser because that experience is
Yeah,
shoddy at
it'll be
best.
interesting to see anyway. Another question here. Okay, Michael Baird says, I don't care about the battery. I really hope they don't get rid of expandable storage, referring to the Note 5. And then Wayne Glasgow. Hey, Wayne, haven't seen you in a while. He says, what do you think about Chrysler having to recall 1.4 million vehicles because of the hacking issue? Now, I didn't read that article. Is this a drawback to having that much technology in your vehicle? People who want to get rid of you don't have to manually cut your brake lines anymore.
No, don't forget. Right?
I made that earlier. I was trying to.
And no, but what they were doing, they actually shut down a Jeep while the Jeep was driving.
Yeah.
You could actually do that. And
So,
the thing is, I don't think it's anything to do with the technology on these cars. I think what it is the lack of encryption, of proper encryption on the technology in these cars.
well, I mean, I think it's a flip though, right? There's that too, but also again, it just means your car is so connected. It doesn't matter. There's nothing that's unbreakable. Let's just put it right that way. So eventually, not saying that somebody, if you're that hated or you're popular enough that somebody wants to kill you, like he said, somebody can. In the middle of a highway, if you're driving on the autobahn and you're doing like 100 like everybody else, and you cut your car and somebody's coming right behind you, you're toast.
Yeah, that's very true. That is a worry, but I don't think it's a worry with the amount of technology you have in your car. I think it's just a worry that these car companies really need to beef up their security,
How come you can't wirelessly transfer
software security.
That's my
Yeah,
question.
no, that's very true. Why can't they just wirelessly update the vehicle?
All that?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's the way they set up their system. You know what it reminds me of? Sorry, I'm bringing Star Trek in because that's all I've been watching
Oh boy.
constantly. But it just reminded me of how like Star Trek, where they'll do some work on computer, they'll have to take a pad because this was 1999 or whatever it was. So they'll transfer on the pad and walk over to transfer it to another computer. That's what it sounds like.
Gotta move that large floppy disk. Gotta move it.
So that's what it looks like. I think that's what Chrysler literally is doing.
We don't have non-internets.
We're just gonna transfer it on this very big USB drive, and we'll plug it in, and then we have to plug it in a computer and see how that goes.
Yeah, but no, it is a concern, and it's a concern over security of your vehicle. And I think all the other companies should start looking at it right now, because the argument for having a car that's connected at any moment is there. You need your GPS, you need your OnStar, you need a lot of different, like your playlists. You need stuff when you're traveling long distances. You probably would rather have Netflix playing for the kids in the back seat. There are a lot of arguments for these things, but these companies that are providing the connection to the web need to provide some form of security, some form of SSL, some form of encryption that disallows someone with malicious intents from hacking into the not just your internet or media consumption of the car, but rather the functionality, the core functionality of your car, and basically, causing harm. They need to think about this, and this is something I don't think they've thought about.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, it's gonna take a process for these guys to realize that you need to get on with it. And I mean, even having, to me, it's not even just the technology of the car, but even say, I'm sure somebody will find a way, because you have Android Play in the car or Apple Auto, or whatever it's called, they will find a way to get into your system that way. I'm sure there are people thinking about that.
Well, if they could get into the system that way, but it can't get into anything having to do with your engine or shutting down your car, I'm fine with that.
No, I know. I'm just saying that we just have to think of it.
I'm fine with that, but
we just have to find ways to make sure that security is paramount with all these things. Security is the most important thing now. I mean, as we adapt technology to every part of our lives, we need to, companies need to understand that. Look, that security budget should not be like this anymore. It is part of because the fallout of not having security is worse than your. I mean, Sony's a good example of that right there.
Ah, Sony.
the fallout of that is what you really need to, you're paying for. You're not paying for the security. You're paying for protection of paying more money.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Anyway, so moving on, we have some more. We have some details on the next Lumia phones, which supposedly now will be called the 950. So this is from Windows Central, who those guys have some really cool, tight relationships with Microsoft, and they have seen some early looks at the device. This is some of the renders that they put up. This is not actually the device itself, but this is just renders of what the device will look like. I'm going to share my screen, and there it is. So this is for the 950 and the 950 XL. Now the 950 specs are, sorry, let me find that. The 950 specs are polycarbonate, matte white or black, 5.2 inches QHD display, sorry, 2K display, never mind, using the Snapdragon 808.
You're looking at the Cityman, the 950?
Talkman is 950.
Talking about the 950 and then a 950 XL.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just, yeah. XL is a different one.
Confusing.
It will have an iris scanner for Windows Hello, which is part of that whole facial recognition stuff that Microsoft has on Windows 10. 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigabytes internal storage, micro SD expansion, 20 megapixel rear camera, 5 megapixel front-facing camera, 3,000 milliamp removable battery, wireless charging with a flip cover, and USB Type-C.
Oh.
And then the XL, the difference with the XL is it's got an 810 processor, same amount of RAM, same storage. It has triple LED, the rear, which is what you're looking at here. It's got a 1mm silver ring inside the circumference of the black camera pod. I don't know what that does. Maybe that enhances the flash. I have no idea. A 3,300 milliamp battery, and of course USB Type-C. So it looks like. What do you say?
Bigger screen too.
Have the wireless charging integrated.
Oh, this has integrated wireless charging, yes. While the other one, so basically the 950 XL is the one to get.
And it's bigger, 5.7 inches.
I mean, yeah, for me it's fine. That's like a note size. Oh, it also will come with a pen accessory, with.
Oh yeah.
And OneNote functionality and all that fun stuff all together.
This might be a shout out or a shot over the bow of a certain Note featured phone.
Yeah. I mean, it could be. Yeah, they just say it comes with a pen accessory, and also that would be the model that would push the Windows Continuum, where you can basically turn your Windows phone into like a working work PC with an accessory and keyboard and mouse. So yeah, thoughts.
Well, they're obviously renders, but they look decent. I wonder how thin these phones are going to be.
Yeah, they said it's very thin. He just didn't have an idea of how thin the phones were.
Yeah, the overall design is very plain, and that's something that really lends itself towards that Microsoft, UI design, right? Where it's a very, very plain, not a fancy kind of UI experience. And the phone now is being designed that way. I'm just wondering if Microsoft is putting itself at risk of being the bland phone.
No, see, I disagree. I mean, these renders are doomed to me don't look great because I don't think it's going to look like this. But I think
it looks close to what the icon looks like right now.
Yeah, but I like the design of the icon. I still like the design of the icon. I do. I think more or less anything is it depends on how thin the phone is more than anything else. If the design is like that and it's very thin, then that will lend to it. For me, I'm interested in the camera because these are the guys who started cameras well before anybody even picked it up.
Nokia.
Well, they bought the division that owned.
Then they fired everyone.
No, not everyone. They didn't fire everyone.
Oh.
No,
Not everyone. Hopefully they
everyone.
kept the right people because Nokia's not making phones. So let's see.
Yeah, no, Nokia's making phones, but it's the Chinese manufacturers that are making phones. No, it's just the name they're selling off.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, I want to see what they do with the camera. I mean, I would like to see eventually a follow up for the 1020 with a 1030. Just go balls out and give me like this one 50 megapixel like dominant and be like toast. Like this phone is just camera. We don't care. That kind of thing. I would be
It's
happy.
a camera with phone functionality.
Yeah.
Yeah, that worked well for Samsung when they tried to do it.
Yeah, but I mean the 1030 is still more of a phone than the Samsung. The Samsung one was really a camera, right? It was just basically straight up a camera, and then you can
make phone calls.
You can make phone calls with it. This one is as a phone, but has a really good camera. So I want to see that. But the only interesting thing there's USB Type C. I think maybe because they're mentioning the whole Continuum and using that as a a workstation, that's probably the benefit there. But other than that, that's my thoughts. What about you, Warren?
Yeah, I think they're interesting. I really would like to. I don't know. I'd like to see
the actual
phones. I really like to see them, like, if these are going to be some high-end phones, like, drop the Lumia name. Let's get the Surface name going. Let's get that Surface and Surface XL. Let's do that. Let's get that popping. It's like I'd like to see these perform with Windows 10 to get an idea really what it's all about. Because realistically, I'm just like, as soon as I hear the Lumia name next to one of their high-end phones, I'm like, whatever. It's going to be another number, and they're a confusing lineup of numbers that nobody knows what's going on in. I want them to kind of reinvent this space and really try to go at it in a different way. But both of these phones look like they'll be pretty good when they come out. I'm just really not sure if it's going to really hit the U.S. with a big splash.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the naming is, Nadal said they're gonna have a business line, and I think that's the line that's gonna be Surface phone. They still say they're gonna do an Enthusiast Lumia, which I was hoping the Enthusiast Lumia would be a 1030, where it's just that kind of those kind of phones where it's like, all right, we'll max out the camera, we'll max out something, and then your Surface or your business line will be that, like your high-end Note series or whatever the case may be. But I mean, we'll see. It's still to October anyway. This phone is not launching anytime soon. Some people are kind of disappointed and saying, okay, it's going to run the 808 or 810. You have to remember, Windows Phone does not need, I mean, honestly does not need an 820, which will be out later on this year. It really doesn't. So I think the 808 or 810 is fine. And we have a comment from Sean Lawrence. He says, if Microsoft can knock it out of the park with Windows 10, the new Lumias will be almost worthless. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But yeah, it's still October, so we'll see what happens then. Yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of tech, unless there's anything else you guys want to mention.
No, I think that's probably about it.
Anything we missed? Any questions? Let me see if we got anything update from the Apple Music.
I don't think so. Nope.
He said he just shared an article on his on my Google Plus page. Oh God.
Okay. Good luck.
I was like, wait, where did he share it? I don't see it. Oh man, sorry, I really don't.
Apple.
I can't find it.
So that Google search.
Let's see. It looks like Sam disappeared there for a second. Anything in Apple Music that we should know about?
Apple Music's worst feature, you can't delete it. Back up your music before disabling it. These are interesting things from Wired and Lifehacked. Windows 10 isn't heavy on the system resources, true, but for gaming, a better SoC is okay.
Oh yeah, I mean, but an 810 is fine. I mean, it's mobile gaming now. I think you having an 810 or 808, you're good. I mean, there's really nothing here. What do you say?
Gotta crush those candies faster, apparently.
Yeah, for mobile gaming, I mean, that's why I said with the 810 and 808, that's a good level there. You don't need to do that much. But I mean, I definitely agree. It's not heavy on system resources, but it doesn't need to go to an 820 either, to maximize anything you're doing with it. The only thing I just saw here on Engadget is Apple and Nike work out settlements on field band lawsuits. So
Okay, I see a couple of things. Apple's music integration with iOS is deep, and like somebody has some issues with it. He said, I'm just gonna delete it. So all you can do is hide Apple Music. When you do that, he saw 4,700 songs missing.
his own songs.
Yep.
Okay, so it looks like there are a lot of kinks there that they need to work out.
You delete it. Yeah, you actually can't delete Apple Music.
Well, you can't delete Google Play Music either.
You can hide it and not use it. You can use another player. You have like several different options.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, I disabled Apple Music. All my local playlist on my iPhone disappears. Like, no music for you.
Oh, wow. And
music, Apple Music, or you get nothing. Next thing you know, you're not gonna be with headphones unless it has a Beats logo on it.
yeah, it looks like I guess it's Note 5 rumors are just going all over the place. Note 5 won't have auto eject pen.
Okay. It won't.
That's the new rumor just right now on GSM Arena.
Stupid. The whole idea is stupid.
What?
The auto eject pen thing. That's why that's stupid. All I need is to put someone's eye out.
No, it's never that. It's spring loaded, which means eventually it's going to break down. That's the thing. And then you just imagine somebody just keep playing, replaying it. It's broken. I just got the phone in like, a month and it's gone. It's that kind of thing will happen. So, although the SoC is the new Exynos 7422, it's a reworked version of the 7420. I expected that, and they didn't. Samsung didn't announce any new Exynos processors because usually they'll announce it ahead. So it looks like this is just a slight upgrade on that there. The measurements of the phone are 153.3 millimeters, 76.1 millimeter, and 7.9 millimeters. 7.9. It's not bad. And yeah, the render shows micro USB.
Okay, I guess what the complaint about Apple Music is it kind of highlights that other Apple-esque things that you may not use, you can't delete off your phone that take up space. So all you can do is put it into a junk folder, so to speak, that you just create to get rid of the stuff, but then it just eats up space on your phone. So you're.
Yeah, no, definitely. All right, guys. I guess that's it. Not much in terms of entertainment either. I mean, there are a bunch of trailers, but I haven't, except the James Bond trailer. I would say that looked dope. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I'm excited to see that movie too. So, but that's it. Anyway, don't forget to check out all the channels. Mr. Warren Bowman, what can we expect from you next week? We already know, do we? Do we know?
I don't know.
It's supposed to be stuff.
Stuff will eventually get up. I'm working a whole new schedule, so we'll figure out when the stuff gets out there. People will be notified.
All right, cool. And for us here, some more Windows 10 stuff next week. We'll be at the Moto event, so we'll share some of that too. I have 2 builds I need to finish. Upgrade this computer and board prime. Eventually, it will happen. I don't think it'll be next week. One will happen next week. One of them. One will happen next week. The reason why I say one because I think it's the board prime because board prime I'm only changing graphics cards. This one I'm changing the processor. Which means I gotta take it, put thermal paste all over again, put my fan on, and things can happen. Changing that in between the Windows 10 change.
Something will blow up.
Exactly. Yeah, you want to be careful. So anyway, guys, don't forget to check out Mr. Warren Bowman at BWone.com. Check out his website. Also, subscribe to him on YouTube. Follow him on Twitter, Instagram. Check out him on Periscope. Any new Periscopes soon? I haven't done one in a while myself.
I haven't done one in a while either. All I know is I got a bunch of notifications of everyone doing Periscopes and then redoing their Periscopes 5 different times because the damn thing keeps disconnecting.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I need to do one soon. And yeah, so follow him on all his social media channels, and of course us Border Work. It's Border Work on all our social media channels. Send us a message, questions, whatever. And thank you very much, guys. So don't forget to like and share, and enjoy your entertainment.